people. And former Senator Tom Coburn joins us. Nice to see you.
Good to see you, Greta.
So, first of all, do you agree Washington is dysfunctional?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so,
but it doesn't matter which party's in charge.
So what happened, or how can we fix this?
Well, I think I spent 10 years up here in the Senate and left early because I don't see a solution in the U.S. Senate and the U.S. Congress to fix what's wrong with our country. And if you look at history, all republics eventually fail over the same thing, which is fiscal issues. We identified over $400 billion of pure waste, fraud, or duplication, none of which got eliminated. And we had both presidents that were Republican with House and Senate Republican. We had Democrat presidents with Democrats in control. We had every mix in between. People with power tend to not want to give that power up. We're far away from what our founders thought we should be.
But I don't understand. I would think that what a great topic to run on. I mean, how can you hate? I mean, it's like, you know, nobody hates puppies, nobody hates kittens. I mean, how could you hate or not want to vote for someone who's trying to get rid of waste and fraud? I mean, how could you be for waste and fraud?
Well, you're not, but you're protecting what benefits your next election cycle, and so they're not for it. They just don't want to be aggressive. They don't want to. Every one of these programs, every bit of this waste has a constituency. And that's why our founders, actually, in their wisdom, they gave us a constitutional way to address this. And that's what I'm working on now. And it's an Article 5 Convention of States. It's not a constitutional convention. It's a convention of states where we come together and we realign what was intended to be the relationship between the states and the federal government. So we limit the scope and jurisdiction of the power of the federal government. So we know how we got astray. The founders were very worried about that. That's what the Federalist Papers were all about. That's what they wrote about. And so they put in the Constitution, Article 5. And so what I'm working with is as a senior advisor with a group of people, 200,000 around the country, to try to pass the same request for a convention of the states in 34 states. And to start putting some limits.
And I should say that conventionofstates.com is the website if people want to read about it. It is, and it's
a very thorough website. All the questions have been raised. What I hear from conservatives, oh, we can't do it, we might not be successful, it might be run away. You know, 69 of the 99 legislative bodies in the states are controlled right now by Republicans. But forget that. People in the country outside of Washington have a lot of common sense.
Oh,
They're not about to let our First Amendment, our Second Amendment, our Fourth Amendment, our Sixth Amendment rights be taken away in some runaway convention. And besides, it only takes 25 legislative bodies to stop anything that would come out of that. Here's something that bothers me more than anything. The federal government continues to lie to the American people about our fiscal situation. Last year we published that our deficit was $420 billion. But we added $4.6 trillion in unfunded liabilities, $1 trillion of it associated with federal employee retirement. So what we added to our kids was $5 trillion last year that they're going to have to pay for.
You know,
so the dishonesty coming out of Washington and the rule of the rulers instead of the rule of law that's how all other republics have failed. And what we ought to be about is restoring that.
Well, conventionofstates.com is where the viewers can read more about it. Nice to see you, Senator. Every time we come back to town, you know where to find us.
I will.
All right.
Good to see you.
And straight ahead.